Good day, everyone. So my topic for today is how to prepare an excellent thesis or capstone defense. All of us, actually, of course, are maybe afraid and always asking on how to prepare an excellent thesis defense or capstone defense. I will give you some tips, of course, on how to do it excellently. Okay, so we are always asking, what is a thesis or capstone defense? If you are about to complete or have ever completed a degree, you have most likely come across the term thesis or capstone defense. In many countries, to finish a degree, you must write a thesis or capstone project. In general, a thesis or capstone is a large paper based on a topic relating to your field of study. Once you hand in your thesis or capstone, you will be assigned a date to defend your work. Your thesis or capstone defense meeting usually consists of you and your group mates and a committee or panelists consisting of 3 or more professors working in your program. It may also include other people like professionals from other colleges or those who are working in your field or an industry practitioner. During your thesis or capstone defense, you will be asked questions about your work. And the main purpose of your thesis or capstone defense is for the committee or panelists to make sure that you understand your field and focus area. The questions are usually open-ended and require the student to think critically about their work. Note that at the time of your thesis or capstone defense, your paper has already been evaluated. The questions asked are not designed so that you must aggressively defend your work. Often, your thesis or capstone defense is more of a formality required so that you can get your degree. For those who are asking, how long is a thesis or capstone defense? How long your oral thesis defense or capstone defense is depending largely on the institution and requirements of your degree. It is best to consult your department or institution on this, even your program heads, your deans, or your technical advisor or thesis professor. In general, a thesis or capstone defense may take only 30 minutes, but it may also take 2 hours or more. This is also depends on how much time is allocated to the presentation and questioning part. We will give you later different parts of thesis defense. What happens at a thesis or capstone defense? Of course, first, be aware that a thesis or capstone defense varies from country to country. This is just a general overview, but a thesis or capstone defense can take many different formats in different countries. Some are closed, other are public defenses, and some take place with 2, some with more examiners. The same goes for the length of your thesis or capstone defense, as mentioned earlier. So, the most important first step for you is to clarify with your department or technical advisor or thesis professor or capstone project professor what the structure of your thesis defense or capstone defense will look like. In general, this is what happens at a thesis or capstone defense. Of course, your presentation. You might have to give a presentation. Often, of course, majority are using PowerPoint presentation, Google Slides, or Keynote slides. Make sure to prepare an appropriate number of slides. A general rule is to use about 10 slides for a 30-minute presentation. But that also depends on your specific topic and the way you present. The good news is there will be plenty of time ahead of your thesis or capstone defense to prepare your slides and practice your presentation alone or with your co-group or with your colleagues, and in front of friends or family. You can prepare your slide by using information from your capstone or thesis first chapter or the overview of your thesis or capstone project as a framework or outline. Substantive information in your thesis or capstone should correspond with your slide. Make sure your slides are of good quality, both as regards the integrity of the information and the appearance of your slides. If you need more help with now to prepare your presentation slides, actually it is available to ASQ Higher Education Brief and James Hyton have a good guidelines on the topic. Questions from the panels or from the committee. As I mentioned earlier, the committee or panels will ask questions about work after you finish your presentation. But in some instances, some panels already ask questions even during your presentations for them not to forget the questions actually. And sometimes they just simply verifying your thoughts or your informations. The question will most likely be about the core content of your capstone or thesis project. Like what you've learned from the study you conducted, but also why you choose your topic or how it will contribute to the existing body of knowledge. You might also be asked to summarize certain findings. Read your full thesis or capstone documentation in preparation of the questions so you know what you have written about. While you are reading in preparation, you can create a list of possible questions and try to answer them. You can foresee many of the questions you will get by simply spending some time rereading your capstone or thesis. Now, this will be the tips to help you prepare for your thesis or capstone defense. Because when you start your degree, the end of it seems so far away, but then it ends up coming faster than you thought. You hand in your thesis or capstone, which was a lot of work, and as a last step before you officially receive your degree, you must master your thesis or capstone defense. Again, here are a few tips on how to prepare for your capstone or thesis defense. Number one, as what we have here, anticipate questions and prepare for them. As I mentioned it before, earlier, but you can really prepare for most of the questions you will be asked. Read through your thesis in capstone, and while you are reading it, create a list of possible questions. In addition, as you will know who will be on the committee or the panels, look at the academic expertise of the committee members or a panel's member or panel members. In what areas would they most likely be focused? If possible, sit at other thesis or capstone defenses with these panel members to get a feeling for how they ask and what they ask. As a student, as a graduating student, you should generally be adept of anticipating test questions. So, use this advantage to gather as much information as possible before your capstone or thesis defense meeting. Number two, or tip number two, dress for success. Your capstone or thesis defense is a formal event. Often, the entire department or university is invited to participate. It signals a critical rite of passage for graduating students and faculty who have supported them throughout a long and challenging process. While most colleges and universities do not have specific rules on how to dress for that event, do regard it with dignity and respect. This one might be a no-brainer, but know that you should dress as if you were on a job interview or delivering a paper at a conference. Number 3, delegate. It might help you deal with your stress before your capstone or thesis defense to entrust someone with the smaller but important responsibility of your capstone defense well ahead of schedule. This trusted person could be responsible for preparing the room of the day of defense, setting up equipment for the presentation, or preparing and distributing handouts. Number 4, and this will be the most commonly problem for IT or for capstone project of an ITE students or information technology education student. Technology is unpredictable. Life is too. There are no guarantees that your PowerPoint presentation or any presentation will work at all or look the way it is supposed to do on the big screen. We have all been there. Make sure to have a plan B for this situation. Handouts can help when technology fails, or an additional fresh shirt for spilled coffee can save the day. Tip number 5. What to do when you do not know the answer. One of the scariest aspects of the defense is the possibility of being asked a question you cannot answer. While you can prepare for some questions, you can never know exactly what the panels will ask or the committee will ask. There will always be gaps in your knowledge, but your capstone or thesis defense is not about being perfect and knowing everything. It is about how you deal with challenging questions or situations. You are not expected to know everything. Based on James Hyton, mentions that examiners will sometimes even ask questions they do not know the answer to, out of curiosity or because they want to see how you think. Well, it is okay sometimes to just say, I don't know. He advises to try something like, I don't know, but I would think, and so on and so forth, because of X and Y, but you would need to do in order to find out. This shows that you have the ability to think as an academic. Number 6, dealing with your nerves. You will be nervous. Actually, personally, when I was in college, I put a 5 peso or even 1 peso coin in my sacks, okay? But the good news is, your examiners will expect you to be nervous. It is completely normal to be nervous. Being well prepared can help minimize your stress, but do know that your examiners have seen this many times before and are willing to help by repeating questions, for example, if needed. Two common symptoms of being nervous are talking really fast and nervous laughs. Try to slow yourself down. Take a deep breath. Remember what feels like hours to you are just a few seconds in real life. Allow yourself to process the question, respond to it, and stop talking once you have responded. Again, of course, they are saying, less talk, less mistake. Well, a smile can often help dissolve a difficult situation. Remember that nervous laughs can be irritating for your audience. We all make mistakes, and your capstone or thesis defense will most likely not be perfect. You are not expected to be perfect, and the examiners already have plenty of experience with this and will guide you through it. Also remember that your thesis or capstone defense is often just a formality, and the committee or panels actually wants you to pass. Okay, this will be some frequently asked questions about preparing an excellent thesis or capstone defense. First, FAQ, common FAQ. What should I wear for my thesis defense or capstone defense? While most colleges and universities do not have a specific rule, as I mentioned, on how to dress for at the event, do reward it with dignity and respect. And this one might be a no-brainer, but know that you should dress as if you were on a job interview or delivering a paper at a conference. I just only repeated what I'm saying earlier. No, again, this will be the common question. That's why I'll give you emphasize, no, on how to deal with this FAQ question. How can I deal with nerves before my thesis or capstone defense? It is completely normal to be nervous, as I mentioned. Being well prepared can help you minimize your stress, but do know that your examiners have seen this many times before and are willing to help by repeating questions, for example, if needed. And don't forget, slow yourself down and take a deep breath. What should I do if I can't answer a question during my thesis or capstone defense? Again, your thesis or capstone defense is not about being perfect and knowing everything. It's about how you deal with challenging questions. Again, based on Highton, he writes that it is okay sometimes to just say, I don't know, but he advises to try something like, I don't know, but I would think, and so on and so forth. Okay? In order to find out. What should I do if technology fails me during my thesis defense? Again, try to look for a plan B. No? Always prepared. So you have a handout or handouts, or you just try to, for example, if you save it already to your Google Drive, no, to your Flash Drive, you have a handout. So this will be a possible solution for that. It can save the day when technology fails. What are tips to help me prepare for my thesis or capstone defense? Number one, anticipate questions and prepared for them. Dress for success. Delegate. Have a backup plan, no, in case of technology fails you. Deals with your nerves. And number six, guys, don't forget to pray. Right after you're studying your capstone or thesis defense, always ask help and guide to our Almighty God. I think you are now ready to defend your thesis or capstone project. Good luck. God bless everyone.